Okay, folks, as promised, we are back again for our follow-up review. Yesterday, we reviewed the 1982 movie Tron. Today, we are reviewing, which has already almost been 14 years. Technically, it's been about 13 in a couple of months. Tron Legacy, the 2010 follow-up to the original 1982 Tron. So quite a huge gap. I can remember seeing this movie in theaters. Interestingly enough, the director of this movie, I have reviewed 2 other of his films on my old channel, Corey Unlisted. So the director of this movie is a guy by the name of Joseph Kosinski. Sounds Polish. And this is his directorial debut. Prior to that, he was a big CGI guy. He did a lot of TV commercials. Interestingly enough, kind of like the director Steven Lisberger of this. He did a lot of TV commercials with early backlit animation. So that's a cool connection. And the other movies that I have reviewed from this director, which were high-reviewed movies for me, was, and I'll put the link in the description, I reviewed 2013's Oblivion starring Tom Cruise. A great sci-fi movie if you haven't seen it, and watch the review on my old channel, Corey Unlisted. And I also have reviewed his 2022 film, Top Gun Maverick, same director. This was a great movie too, and I reviewed that as well. So you got a whole trilogy of reviews by one director spread across my 2 different channels. So let's talk about Tron Legacy. This movie is long, 2 hours and 5-minute runtime compared to 96 minutes of the original Tron. This movie was very expensive to make. It was filmed over the period of 67 days on Vancouver, British Columbia, on a budget of $170 million. They used 10 different companies that were involved in making the extensive visual effects. This movie was originally made for 3D viewing in theaters. I did not see the 3D version. I was not a fan of 3D. I saw it in 2D, and I watched it on my television in 2D, and it's just fine. I love the soundtrack of this movie. Daft Punk did the soundtrack. Very electronic. Disney spent tens of millions of dollars in marketing this film, and it made over $400 million worldwide. But considering how much they spent on marketing and to make it, they did not consider it a commercial success. Interestingly enough, they are currently shooting, starring Jared Leto, and he's they're producing part 3 of this movie. But this particular sequel dates back to 2005. They had 4 different people work on the screenplay. Steven Lisberger, the original guy, he saw the story and he gave it his blessing. This movie is considered a cult classic as well. And there is a lot of religious undertones in this film like the original, and its main theme is finding the human connection in a modern digital world. Now, it's long, but you guys didn't watch it with me. Critics were not kind to this movie. Rotten Tomato average, 51%. IMDb, 6.8 out of 10. So, what do you guys rate the movie at?
Okay, so let's get to us first, because we watched the rest of the movie without him.
And then I came back and watched the rest of it today. So, without me being there...
It's not that good of a movie. Well, so, I'm just going to go for stars for this one. I'm not actually going to rate it.
Okay. So
2 stars.
2 stars. Out of how many stars? Out of 5?
Out of 5.
Okay, I give this a 3 out of 5.
And I will rate it 2.
Okay, well okay, go ahead.
4. Rate 2 out of 5.
You rated it 2 out of 5.
Of course I did.
How come you guys didn't like it?
I don't like how that father died. It was pretty
I like it, but the father died at the end, and everybody in Tron universe died. 90 out of 12.
90 out of 12. So, I can remember seeing this movie 13, 14 years ago, and I was probably not really feeling as excited about this movie as I am now. I really liked the soundtrack. Obviously, the animation style This movie has early de-aging because they de-aged the Jeff Bridges guy, and it doesn't look great. But for the time, I think it's okay. It's a completely different animation style of how they pictured the digital world in the 1982 version, where the faces of the characters are black and white with the early CGI, which I really liked. But this movie is very driven by the soundtrack, and it is ultra stylized. I thought that the director, Kosinski, did a good job for his directorial debut. I disagree with you guys. I think it's a good movie.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 4 out of 5. I enjoyed it. And I think that maybe they leave it open-ended. Did the dad really die? You don't really know. Olivia Wilde is in this movie. There's like a weird story where there's like inside of this digital computer world, there's actually real-life people. And I guess she's one of them. But overall, I thought it was an okay movie. Is it great? I don't know. They're considering... All right, enough! We're considering it a cult classic. They are now. I mean, 13 years later on Wikipedia, it says now this movie and this movie are both considered cult classics. We will have to see what they do with part 3. A lot of the original actors are not coming back for part 3, so I do not know if it'll be as closely connected to that movie. So we'll have to wait and see. Until next time, folks, we'll see you then. Watch these reviews and let me know what you think of this director's other 2 movies that he's done. Thank you for coming along.
2 stars.
2 stars.
2 stars.
And 3 stars. And what was yours again?
A 90 out of 12.
Okay.
That's my rating.
That's an interesting rating, but I accept it for what it is. Yeah. See you later, folks.
See you later, folks. And this was a horrible rating, but I
think it was pretty good.
Anyway.
You said 3 out of 5, but that's not what you said earlier. Before we started the video, he said that he was 0 out of 5. How come you moved it up?
I didn't say that. That's Center on Attention. I didn't say it was 0 out of 5.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I said it was 2 out of 5. Really.
And now you changed it to 3 out of 5.
Yeah, I liked it a lot more. I changed my mind about it.
That's fine.
I'm going to talk right
Go ahead.
So,
Wait, come back.
I'm going to talk about the chart on my favorite movie. I put WALL-E's already on the chart.
Okay.
Because it's my favorite movie.
WALL-E, okay.
It's in between the 5. Yes, it's in between 5 and 7.
Okay.
And there's nothing at 10 yet.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yes, but my favorite movie is the movie we watched today.
Which was what?
I mean the movie we watched yesterday also.
You mean the Tron movie?
Yeah, it's the greatest.
Okay. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.
Wait.
Oh.
2 stars.
2 stars. I'll remember that.
Yes.